Oh, mercy. Hopefully this is working now. I have had so many technical difficulties. Let's see here. Unbelievable. Thanks for bearing with me if you see this already, guys. I have had so many technical difficulties, it's almost worth just not doing this anymore, like ending everything. And maybe trying again next week. So I'm going through my settings right now just to make sure everything is going. And if you are here and you can hear me and you can see me, let me know, because this is ridiculous. Okay, Darth Vader B. Thank you so much for letting me know, dude. I just went for like 10 minutes not knowing that I was muted. And I'm going to delete that live stream and start over. And this is actually starting over for a third time. I don't know at what point you came in, but I was going for a bit there. And man, the lighting's really bad in here too. So this setup, by the way, is indicative. And this dates back to 2 weeks ago when I tried to do the live stream with Mr. Bucs Nation. Is I've had like everything going wrong. Everything going wrong technically. I could not get this in. It makes me feel super old because I could not figure it out. But thanks for hanging in there, man. And it's just you and me at this point. But I'm finally talking Bucs football. I'm going to try to do this weekly, and I'm going to get the setup figured out, and I'm going to get these technical difficulties figured out, hopefully. But let me know if you have any thoughts. Actually, when you came in and I was muted, what I was talking about was Tony Dungy being inducted into the Ring of Honor and going and talking about the kind of the controversy that arose when Gruden got inducted about who should have gone in first. And I was kind of making a case for both of them. Let me know what you think. But essentially, I agree that Tony Dungy probably should have gone in first to the Ring of Honor. I'm glad he's getting inducted this year, and I think in the end he doesn't care, and I think in the end no one's going to remember who got in first. But I think that and you agree with me, definitely Dungy. I think he should have gotten in first. If you asked me, I would have put him in first, but I think it worked out, because imagine if they flipped it and Tony was inducted last year and suddenly Gruden is the Raiders head coach. It's like, okay, do we wait till he retires again to put him in? I mean, he was Super Bowl winning head coach. And maybe the answer is yes there. I don't know. But I think it did end up working out where we got both coaches in. And in the end, I don't think it will matter because both names will be up there. And I mean, I would have put Dungy in first. He is the one that built the foundation that Gruden capitalized on. But I'm in Team Dungy. And also another thing I was saying in the last failed stream is that Tony Dungy is a hero of mine. I became a Bucs fan in the mid-'90s when he became coach. And so not only did he turn this franchise around, but he did it in a way with that's a kind of an unconventional leadership role where he wasn't the yell at you kind of guy. He was a quiet leader. I mean, not really quiet, but he was never going to just yell at guys on the field. He wasn't going to lead with anger. He was going to lead with fear. He led with respect. And and you're right. He did put the team on the map, and he did it in a way that I haven't seen many other coaches do, where the players just flat out respected Tony Dungy. And Tony didn't curse at people. He didn't be a Shiano where he's toes on the line. He wasn't authoritarian. He was just a great leader. And guys like Warren Sapp, who were the jerks and the a-hole players, they would have run through a wall, jumped off a bridge, stuck their finger in a light socket for Tony Dungy. And that's because Dungy had their respect. One of my favorite stories about Dungy is the fact that he brought in Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks together when they first met and was like, you two are the leaders. And he gave them players to to be and to surpass. And I can't remember which players they were, but I think maybe Derek Brooks was like Lawrence Taylor, and Warren Sapp was maybe not Reggie White because he's an end, but they were given players to kind of like, okay, I want you to surpass these guys. And he challenged them, and they respected it. And I don't know if there has that in the NFL, especially not one that has been as successful as Tony Dungy was. So people will praise him for, you know, the players he brought in and obviously the success he had and turning around the franchise. But the fact that he did it the way that he did it is really what puts him at the top of my list as far as all-time coaches go. And he is a hero of mine because it's a type of leadership that I really look up to. It's unconventional. And people scoff at it when, you know, you're not as conventional and you're a little bit quieter. But, man, he gained their respect so hard, and that's just I love that so much. So I'm so happy for Tony that he's getting inducted. I hope you guys are too at Jedi Mind Tricks 183. Tony showed his massive man meat. Yeah, in a way, figuratively, he did, man. And he swung it around and he owned it. And those guys respected the hell out of him. And he is long overdue. I mean, people argue that he should have gotten in before Gruden. I'd argue he should have gotten in before guys like Paul Gruber. I mean, this may just be because I, you know, am after the times of Paul Gruber, or even, honestly, John McKay. I mean, why not? I mean, John McKay, yeah, he was the first coach, but this team was awful under him. So Dungy put these guys in the playoffs and made them perennial contenders, and something we haven't seen really since. So Tony Dungy deserved to be in there earlier, yes, but hey, he's going to be up there, and no one's going to remember who was in before whom after a while, and I'm just glad he's up there. So I can't wait to see the induction ceremony. And again, he's a hero of mine. I have his autograph, and I hope to like meet him someday in a way that like I get to have a conversation with him, because I think a lot of people can learn from his leadership style. So here's another question, you know, for the couple guys that are in the chat right now. Who are some players that you think should be in the Ring of Honor next? I mean, there's still a list of guys, and I know Scott Reynolds on Pewter Report listed a whole bunch of guys that he felt should go in next, and like the order he'd put them in and stuff. It was a long list of guys, and for me, I'm kind of more of a more is less, or sorry, less is more mentality when it comes to a Ring of Honor. I mean, you're going to run out of space in that stadium eventually, and then the more players you put up there, kind of the less the honor gets, so to speak. I mean, if you look up there and you're one among 30, like that's not as special if you're one among 10 in a franchise all time. So, excuse me, guys, getting over a sickness. So apologize for being a little gross. So yeah, if you guys think, you know, what players deserve to be in next, I think there are some fringe players, and especially compared to who's up there now. There's guys like Simeon Rice that, you know, might be on the fringe there. I think Rondé Barber definitely deserves to be in the Ring of Honor. I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. So I think Rondé definitely needs to be in there. Simeon, there's a case for Hall of Fame for him. So then I think there might be a case for him in the Ring of Honor. The problem with Simeon is he wasn't here very long. I mean, he was impactful. He was our last guy who had double-digit sacks, but he wasn't here for very long. And then I've heard other names like Joey Galloway tossed out there, and who else? Like Warwick Dunn. Warwick Dunn's an interesting one because he was with this team for about 6 years, and he had some success, and he was really exciting with Allstott. But the issue is Warwick spent half his time with the Falcons. So is he a Bucs player or is he a Falcons player? I mean, what does he consider himself? I don't know. I just feel like that's a little tricky. And while I love Warwick to death because he's another high character guy, he might be another fringe player. I don't know. I'd like to hear what you guys think. Darth Vader, you say Rondé should be. Yeah. I think I think he's the next one, honestly. I think he's the next one to come in. And if they were going to do two this year, I bet that he would be one of the two. And I'm interested in knowing kind of what their system is too, because sometimes they did two, sometimes they did one. Why they choose to do two sometimes and one another time, I don't really know their system. But I honestly, apart from those guys that we just listed, I can't think of anybody else really. I mean, we know McCoy will probably get in there at some point, and then there's this whole slew of other guys that we hope will be in there, right? Like Jameis and Mike Evans and Ali Marpet and Quan and Levante. So we got to make some room for those guys because I feel like they're going to be there eventually, and hopefully some of the new guys like Rojo or something. But I feel like putting Warwick Dunn in is like equivalent to maybe putting in Cadillac Williams or even Doug Martin, really. Because Warwick had probably better numbers than them consistently. But anyway, let me know what you guys think on that one. Should Warwick Dunn get in there? Okay, so and since I've had 2 other failed attempts, I'll probably dip out early here. But kind of another question I have for you guys is, which rookies are you most excited for this year? We've had rookie mini camps. We've read about the rookies and how they did, how they looked. I know I read from Peter Report that Vita Vea, it looked okay, and the expectation there is that he's going to be a rotational player, which is probably not what people want to hear for a first-round pick. And but I think that's okay, and I think actually that's best case scenario for Vea because he's going to be he's not going to be expected to perform immediately like Gerald McCoy was. Gerald McCoy was thrown into a bad team with a bad supporting cast and was expected to be the leader immediately and produce immediately. And he tore his biceps the first 2 years. And took a long time to produce. And I feel like, in general, defensive linemen just take more than a year to be who they truly are. So Vea now is protected because he has guys like Bo Allen, Mitch Unrein, and Gerald in front of him, and then he can learn from, and he doesn't have to produce right immediately. So Darth Vader, you say Rojo, and the cornerbacks, yeah, for sure. Carlton Davis, I mean, he's been the one that I've heard has really stood out. And I'm excited to see Carlton Davis. I'm kind of scared about how he's going to be used by Mike Smith because, I mean, as we know with Vernon Hargraves, for whatever reason, playing him off a guy is not his strength. And suddenly when he was pressing guys, he was great. So I am afraid it's going to be another situation like that. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we've learned, and also hopefully the new and improved pass rush will help those corners when they're in off coverage. I think that's a big thing that not many people are talking about is the corners can play off when the quarterback has less time to throw. So I really think Mike Smith places corners off because his defense is predicated on having a pass rush. Since there was no pass rush, of course, yeah, he could have adjusted, but he didn't. Because we had no pass rush, guys were just having all the time to get room, and all the time they had to get room and move around. And Brenton Grimes is great giving people room. He's not a press guy, so of course he excelled, but nobody else did. So I'm hoping that the new and improved pass rush comes to fruition with JPP and all the and Vinny Curry and all the other guys inside, that it won't be such a big deal that our corners are playing off of guys. That's my hope. We'll see. And we also have a really brutal schedule this year. So, yeah, I agree. Mike Smith has got to show up. I mean, there was a lot of hype coming into last year, and he disappointed. And now everybody's hesitant this year. So hopefully he can surpass our expectations once again. So I'm excited to see Rojo. I am hesitant, and if you guys saw my last live stream with Mr. Bucs Nation, I was more of a Darius guy. I've heard a lot of negative things about Ronald Jones. I have not looked at a lot of film, and it's hard to look at film of college guys unless you have the outlets. I mean, all I see is highlights. So highlights make him look great, right? Highlights make any player look great. But I'm hearing a lot of stuff about how Ronald Jones can only shed one-on-one tackles, and he can't really get through the line if he doesn't have a hole. So I don't know. We'll see. I am excited to see Ronald Jones, but I'm very hesitant. And hopefully, as training camp picks up and we start to hear reports on how these guys are doing, that it'll look better and hopefully calm my nerves down. Okay, I'm going to cut it off here at 15 minutes. Thanks for hanging in there, Darth Vader, and then Jedi Mind Tracks as well. Hopefully, as we keep doing this regularly, we'll get more people. Tell your friends about it. I know you guys are subscribed. So if you guys are watching this on replay, thanks for bearing with me. I had a whole story on my failed stream about how and when I became a Bucs fan, but I'll save that for another time. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon. You'll know when I'm live. I have a highly produced video coming soon. I'm editing it right now, and I think you guys are going to be excited about it. It's when I have a big beard. You're going to be really confused if you watch this back to back with that one. But anyway, that should be releasing in the next couple of weeks, and so be looking out for that. And I'll see you